Hi, this is John Abd-Qadir Davies. I'm speaking from the Farm of Peace in Pennsylvania, and I'm also faculty at the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism in California, and at the Center for International Development and Conflict Management at the University of Maryland. And I also teach as visiting professor at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. I've been in the field of peacemaking for about 35 years, and I was recently challenged by Siddhi to focus on making peace in my own country. He said, we lack peace here, and the impact of that in the countries that I was working in several parts of the world, he said, would be greater than whatever I could do by making the regular trips to be able to help directly in those countries. And I recognized the truth in what he was saying. And so what I've done is to bring together the core insights of that 35 years of peacemaking and to be able to apply it to individuals, families, relationships, organizations in this country. And because one of the fundamental realities of peacemaking is that peacemaking happens between people, individuals. It doesn't happen between countries, it doesn't happen between large ethnic groups. It happens between individual human beings who connect with each other, who begin to open and understand each other, and find the place, find the trust where they can begin to work together. So, for example, one of the places I worked in the early 2000s, or from 2000, for a couple of years, from 1999 actually through 2001, was after the fall of a 30-year dictator in Indonesia. And we were brought in to be able to facilitate a democratic transition from dictatorship to democracy in an enormously diverse country of thousands of islands, hundreds of languages, hundreds of different cultures, many different religions. It's the largest majority Muslim country in the world, but there are many Christians and many traditional religions there that are part of the mix. And so some of the insights that we learned there were to make peace at the national level. We had to work first at the local level. And in Indonesia there were local conflicts breaking out all over the place. And we worked in places like Aceh, in West Papua, in the Spice Islands, in the island of Kalimantan or Borneo. In Kalimantan, for example, we're working in Western Kalimantan particularly, where the Aboriginal people, the Dayak, who are a mix of Christian and native tradition, had been fighting a fierce war against the migrant Maoris, the Muslims, and they had, in order to drive out the Maoris and protect what they saw, the destruction, their ecology from being destroyed by the economy that the Maoris were building there, they reverted to an ancient tradition of headhunting and would actually go after the Maoris fighters and take their heads and display them on spikes and to spread terror, to spread fear in the country. And succeeded. They quickly cleansed, ethnically cleansed, if you like, the Maoris from the whole of Kalimantan countryside. And so here am I having to bring these two groups together again to be able to bridge the enormous gulf of fear and contempt that was generated in circumstances like this. And this is not unusual. You've got real, after levels of violence that occur in war, people don't even see the other side as human beings. So they don't even call them by human names. They're terrorists, or they're animals, or murderers, whatever. Names that dehumanize and distance us from them. So to make peace, we have to reconnect. We have to open those connections. And this is what we're doing in this case and all around Indonesia, bringing sides together that had been fighting and killing each other. And one of the principles that came out in Indonesia over and over again was that not only do you have to work to make peace at the local level before it's possible for peace to happen in the country as a whole. We can't impose peace top down, not a sustainable peace, not a real peace. You can suppress violence for a while, but you can't impose peace. Peace is something that comes bottom up from the people at the grassroots living a life that really satisfies, that allows them to feel proud and content with the life that they're leading. So this is what we're aiming for, to be able to bring people together in a way where they can begin to understand each other, to be able to understand each other not as evildoers that had to be fought, but as human beings that were caught in the trap of conflict and used strategies that were perhaps unwise, destructive, and but to go beyond judging them for their behavior and look at what drove them to that behavior. What was it they were really needing and seeking? They were seeking justice, respect, understanding, help in being able to prevent their land from being degraded and hollowed out. And so how do these experiences in Indonesia and elsewhere around the world translate into practical insights and methods for living peace in the family, in relationships, that we can cover in a 12-week seminar on living peace, living love, living now. The title of the seminar really reflects the core insight that to live peace means we're bringing people together to be able to connect with each other, to understand each other, to begin to trust each other, ultimately to really empathize with each other deeply enough so that we start to feel that sense of love between them. If we don't really understand someone deeply enough to love them, how can we partner with them? How can we be neighbors living in mutual support? How can we be spouses? How can we be lovers in the real sense of the word? So living peace at its core is living love. And living love is the state of being so connected, feeling so connected with each other that we can't find the difference. That I lose the sense of separateness between me and you. That I can't favor me over you or you over me or try to control you or let myself be controlled by you, because there's no meaning to those terms. They're the games of separation. And so the insights are going to be around how to make peace through the deep heart-to-heart connection, which makes us, opens the door for us to be having shared experience of relationship. Rather than telling each other about it or pulling on each other in different ways, we live the reality of love together. And we do it immediately by being present, fully present with each other, not planning for some future event, for some future goal of love, but to make love the immediate reality from each day. And so, you know, the work we do in, a lot of the work we do is with couples, or with families, or with close friends, or associates. And you know, for example, just over the last week, I've talked to 3 people from different families that I've worked with. And in 2 of them, they were on the edge of divorce, and were now just really enthusing over how beautiful their family is and how grateful they are to be living in a place of love, and excited about everything that's going on with their families, their kids are growing up. And in the 3rd family, the parents were doing well. This 3rd family is a family that I just had 1 session with. Had their kids together, and the 2 parents. One of the kids was just not getting on well with either of the others, or with his parents. He was really angry and throwing tantrums and just not in love with anyone. And when he came into the group, he wasn't able to speak. He wasn't able to say words, to say what was going on for him, to answer questions. But what he was able to do, I realized pretty quickly, was give me clues in his body language, what was going on. And so I would just reflect back what I was hearing from him. And it shocked him. And he couldn't speak still, but he kept communicating, and I kept reflecting back. And his brother was starting to pick it up and appreciate what was going on. And so, anyway, long story short, after 1 session, the relationship changed. The brothers are now best of friends. They love each other, they really get on well. From being in a place of failing in school, not able to handle academics, to being in a place where he's now received a scholarship to be able to go to a magnet school that only accepts less than 1 in 5 of the best candidates. And this is just in a couple of years' time. And you know, his parents were just saying to me the other day again how this was the turning point when we worked together to be able to help everyone in the family understand what it meant to be able to live together in love as a family. So I'd like to invite you to join me in this 12-week seminar, Living Peace, Living Love, Living Now. It's you know, I really particularly invite you to join us, whether you're a couple looking to be able to deepen your relationship, whether you're a family really wanting to live the full richness of family life, or whether you are, whoever you are, if there's a difficult relationship in your life, there's someone that you've been separated from, or that has some grievance against you, or you have some grievance against them that needs to be healed. If you can come together, or if you can come on your own, either way, we can help you to work through how to heal the relationship, how to deepen the relationship, how to translate a difficult relationship into a rich and full and loving relationship.